So, you want a bigger house, but you don't know the difference between moving or purchasing, what house rating means, or the quickest and easiest way to do it. Well, I'm going to teach you. Let's have a look at how the housing progression system works in Throne and Liberty. The housing system in Throne and Liberty is a progression system, which means that you have to achieve certain ratings, points, in order to unlock the next step in the housing progress system. I know that doesn't make too much sense, so we're going to have a look through that. In essence, you have a progression system that includes different houses sizing and different numbers of houses that you can purchase. In order to unlock these different steps, which you can find in the achievement rewards within House Settings Manage My House, you'll see that there are certain points of house rating that you must achieve. Now, house rating comes from one thing, and that is the furniture within your house. When we look at our house settings page, we'll see that it tells us exactly how many furniture are applying to our house rating. So in a small house, that's 40 items, and it should be noted that those are unique furniture items. Duplicates of the same item do not count towards house rating. So 40 items within the small house are applying to our house rating. There, 80 items are applying towards our house rating in our medium house, and I would assume the double of that, so maybe 160, we don't quite know yet, will apply to the house rating of our next house. The initial housing quest is going to give you all of the points you need to move from the basement to a small house. You do, on your first step, have to move rather than purchase in order to get into the next level. To do that, you will also need furniture tickets, which I will talk about in a bit. So once we go from basement to small house, how do we get from small house to the medium house? Well, it's going to require a lot of crafting. You are going to need to spend a lot of time on the crafting table and the gathering out in the world in order to get enough stuff to equip your house to meet the minimum rating. So when we go to Manage My House, we'll see that my house rating within this current house is 6,780. Now, it was 7,800, which is what you need in order to get the medium house. But in order to get the 7,800, you will need to craft uncommon items. There is one way to do it with only common items, but it requires you to purchase a second small house. If you purchase a second small house, then the combination, the total house rating from both houses, small houses, will combine to give you that total 7,800. It's not too hard to achieve that with just the common items and the uncommon items, so you should be able to do that fairly quickly if you don't want to spend too much time gearing up to rare items. However, if you want to do it this way, with one house, one small house, you will need to get your crafting and furniture up to rare level, which is a bit of a challenge. One way to get that way faster is to take a look at the Laslin Abundance Battle Pass. Within this quest, you will find that when you hit levels 80, you'll be able to obtain a number of rare refined items. These are going to allow you to craft some furniture that will give you an extra boost in order to get to that house rating quicker with the one small house. However, you will still need further items. So rare crafting and furniture crafting is absolutely required if you only get one house. Now you might be thinking, okay, well that's easy, then I will just get 2 small houses and then up my rating that way. The only issue with doing that approach is that you will need to spend some life tokens on the housing purchase permits. If you're trying to do this quickly, then you will find that you are set limited number of life tokens per week based on the contracts we have here. Contracts at the most high level will give you 5 life tokens per contract. At the lower level will give you 3 life tokens per contract. So you can see that it's limited per week. You should be able to raise 5 tickets per week, ignoring the need for anything further like furniture tickets, which are required to move your items from one house to the next. If you choose to buy a second small house, you will need to get 3 more of your housing permits within the region that you're in and spend 30 tokens on that rather than saving them up to buy 5 tickets for the medium house. So it may delay you a little bit in that respect if you don't have a stockpile of life coins already. However, once you do hit that rating amount, I have been told that you are able to delete things out of your original houses in order to obtain the next house. So it may be that you put a bunch of uncommon items that you don't mind destroying, because remember, you can only destroy or move furniture. Furniture that has been put into your house cannot move back into your inventory. The only way to get rid of it is to destroy it or to use a furniture ticket to move it into another house. Furniture tickets also cost different at different rarity levels. So at the rare level, you need 5 furniture tickets to move it into another place. At the uncommon level, you need 3 furniture tickets to move it into another place. And the basic furniture plus any that you've bought with Lucent can be moved for 1 furniture ticket. So I would highly suggest, if you are taking that approach of 2 small houses, that you put anything that you don't need into your second house so that you can easily destroy it and move into that medium house straight away. Speaking of moving and purchasing, what is the difference between moving and purchasing a place? Moving house means that you move from your existing house into a new house. Your previous house will disappear, no longer be accessible unless you purchase it again. But if you want to take your furniture with you, you will find that you need furniture tickets. In this case, it's telling me that to move from my medium house with 99 items at varying rarities, I will need 193 furniture tickets. As a reminder, from the shop, those furniture tickets cost 1 life coin each. And those life coins are also needed to purchase these Laslin housing permits. Since you're limited every week, it is ideal if you can get this number down to as few as possible, destroy what you don't need, and perhaps maybe just save up for a few items that you really want to keep, like the ones that you've spent Lucent on. I will say, as a side note, I really don't like this furniture ticket approach. I think that perhaps there should be a bit more leniency there, and that we should be able to move our furniture, particularly the stuff we bought with Lucent, for free. But that is how the game has been developed, so don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger. When it comes to moving, obviously this medium house will disappear, and this now will be my new home, provided I have enough of the purchasing permits and also the furniture tickets. When it comes to purchasing, you have the option to purchase only if you have an additional slot available. In my case, I have 3 housing slots open, which means that I can purchase a third home. However, I don't have the purchase permits in order to do so. You will also find, both when you're moving and when you're purchasing, and I know this is catching a lot of people out, is that you need this Laslin Dominion points. What it means is essentially you need a reputation within the town of the house that you're moving to. So in my case, since I'm in Castleton, I need to make sure that I already have a house with 4,800 points within the Castleton region before I can move into a higher level house. The same goes for Vienta. I would need to have a small home in Vienta with 4,800 points, or 2 houses if that's the case, in order to move into the next Vienta home. So you are somewhat restricted in terms of moving between towns, which again is a little bit disappointing, but this is how they've set it up. And so make sure that if you have a house, for example, that you're aiming for at level 3, the large houses, that you have already established a house within that town and have the necessary purchase rating or house rating, Laslin Dominion points, whatever they're going to call it, in order to hit that target. So now the question is, how many of each furniture items do I need in order to move from a small to a medium or a medium to a large house? If we take another look back at the achievement rewards, we'll see that you have to hit these various house ratings. And in order to get to the first one at 4,800, we are going to need a certain number of uncommon items if we're going for the one house approach. And again, we're going to need a certain number of points in order to reach the next level. If we take a look at our storage, you'll see that I have different varying levels of furniture, When we have a look at our rear furniture, which is blue, you'll see beneath the description of the item, there is a house icon with a number. In this case, this one says 400. Let's see if I have one higher. There we go. This one is 500. That is the total amount of house rating each item contributes. When it comes to rear furniture, you'll find that it's between 500 to 400. When it comes to uncommon furniture, it's between 150 to 120. When it comes to the basic, there's a big drop off. It is between 40 and 50. And if you're thinking about your Lucent bought furniture, they contribute absolutely zero. As I said in my previous video, make sure that you're not adding these into the house to take up furniture tickets in the beginning, because they will not contribute anything towards your house rating. So at an absolute minimum, to move from the small house into a second small house, which we discussed as a strategy earlier, you are going to need at least 40 120 level uncommon items. Now you could mix in some of the common items with some higher rated 150 level uncommon items, but at the very basic level, you will need to have 40 120 rating items. When you want to move up to the 7,800, you'll find that you're going to need to mix in some rare items. At an absolute minimum for the medium house unlock, in one house, you are going to need 29 120 rating uncommon items and 11 400 rating rare items. Again, it's really important to note that only unique items count, so you cannot craft the same thing at 500, for example. In order to beef up your score, you do have to have unique items, no duplicates, in order for it to count. If you are targeting the two house approach, the two small home approach, then all you will need is 3,900 house rating in each of those houses in order to unlock the total house rating. And like I said before, you are able to, once you've hit that achievement reward and ticked it off, make sure you click acquire first, then you will be able to delete everything out of one of your homes in order to move without having to purchase furniture tickets. Once you've hit an achievement reward, there is no going back. It will not move your score down and remove this achievement. This is unlocked for forever. To get into a large home, again, this gets more complicated, because if you manage to keep your small homes, that rating will also count towards your total score. But in general, you're going to need, as a rough estimate, at least 60 items at rare level in order to unlock the next house rating. That's if you have the small house and the medium house. You can get a few extra points if you go and get the next small house or another medium house in order to boost that amount. What approach you take is up to you. For me personally, I think I'm just going to work on a small house and a medium house and continue to craft as much rare furniture as I possibly can. Well, I hope that helped to explain somewhat of the housing progression system. It's all a learning process at the moment, and I'm sure a lot of you are still on that grind, as am I. It is a long journey, and it's going to take us a while to get to those large houses, but the payoff is going to be great when we do. And just as a side note, if you are on Fortune server in the EU, my house is open to visit. Just have a look for cleeyaa, and you are welcome to come and say hi. I would also love to visit your houses if you have anything to show off. I'd love to see what you're doing with your places. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you have any questions below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.